We're glad to have you in here with us this Tuesday afternoon. We have a great show prepared tonight. Not only do we have a great show prepared tonight, but we have had a lot of sponsors just step up, and we got, I think, 6 giveaways we're going to do tonight. And one of them is going to be a RS net that will be given away at the end of this program. So you want to stay tuned in for that. I got myself here tonight. I got my co-host in with us, Aaron Churchwell. Some of y'all know him as Bobby. He's in with us tonight. Good afternoon, Aaron.
How you doing, man? This is going to be fun. We got Team HOT back in the house. And it's going to be the first reunion since the end of the Catmasters. So, I mean, we talk with each other every day almost. So, it's going to be a fun show.
Hey, Aaron, I do want to tell Team Hot that HOT that y'all be careful tonight what you share and stuff and what you say, because I've got rumors and I've heard that Mick Peachtree is tuned in with us tonight. You can be watching for him. He's gonna be in the chat. So, hey, guys, if y'all don't know who we got on here tonight, we got Mr. Spud Barton. Spud, man, glad to have you in with us tonight, please.
I'm glad to be here.
Yes, sir. And some of y'all know him as Daniel Maddow. Others of y'all know him as Hollywood. He is in the house with us tonight. Daniel, good afternoon, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, Stacey.
Yes, sir. Guys, I'm going to ask y'all if y'all would, as you're joining in chat, one of the things we're looking for is a big crowd tonight. If you would, tag a couple of your friends that you know. Maybe you don't see them in here with us right now. Tag them. Share this post right here for us. And we're looking to have a great time. We're going to talk catfishing, and ain't no telling what else we love to get into. And for the ones who do not know, this right here is going to be, let me just get Aaron to share a little bit. Aaron, this is your team. This is y'all's team right here, right? So share a little bit about this.
I mean, they threw us all together in a boat. Me and Daniel, we fished before, but I met Spud. When was that? PK 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
And Team HOT wanted to put together a team for the Catmasters, and they threw all of us in a boat together and said, "Fend for yourselves." No, I'm kidding, man. It's a real technical team. I mean, if you break it down.
Yeah. Hey, y'all share a little bit about this. Share a little bit about HOT. Give them a here. Share a little bit about them, what they do.
Okay, Heroes Outdoor Therapy started as a nonprofit for, but there's a lot of a lot of guide services and stuff out there that'll let veterans go fishing at no charge. The problem is the veterans couldn't get there, so that's what HOT started as. HOT started as the middleman to get veterans to that destination and cover all the travel fees and everything like that. Now they bring veterans out hunting, fishing, doing all that. So it's a very good organization to help veterans that get out or to get out into the outdoors. So,
yes, sir. Hey, and while we're waiting for there's a lot of people already done jumped in chat. We got over 100 live views in here as right now. We got Mr. Spud Barton here with us. Spud, tell a little bit about yourself, man, where you from and what's your local body of water that you fish?
Well, I'm from Central Texas, so I'm about an hour north of Austin, about 45 minutes south of Waco, south of Baylor. And mainly my home bodies of water of all the little lakes around here. I say they're all anywhere from 8 to 15,000 acre Corps of Engineer impoundments, and the Brazos River flows right through here. So Lake Waco, Lake Belton, Lake Limestone, Navarro Mills, that whole little central area right through here is my home bodies of water.
Yes, sir. Daniel, tell us a little bit about yourself, man, and where you come from. Hey, and Aaron, Dale called me this afternoon, and he specifically want to know, where did he get this name Hollywood from? So share a little bit about yourself, man.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Sacramento, California area, but I currently live in Florida. So how I got to Florida is I'm in the military. So I've been in the Air Force for I hit 16 years actually this coming up month on the 14th. So 4 more years left, and I'll be punching my ticket out. But moved down here to Panama City, Florida. The body of water I fish down here is Lake Seminole. So that borders Florida, Alabama, and Georgia. So I get to see Aaron a little bit quite often because he lives up there in Georgia. But other than that, how I got Hollywood. So after the ACA commercial, Chad Bailey from Size Matters Outdoors, he decided to give me the name Hollywood for some odd reason, thinking that, making a big commercial was a big deal for me. And, he said, man, get your makeup on. So that way, you can make that commercial. So that's how I got Hollywood, but I'll go with it. It works.
Hey, just go with it, man. Hey, it's attached to you now, so just make the best out of it.
Stacey, I got something here in the comments, and we're going to see if you're going to run with it. Somebody said, let's get to 500 viewers and do a trip with Stacey Gaston.
Hey, I will tell it right now. Anytime, if we reach 500 viewers, I will promise you that you'll get a trip with me, and I will do everything I can. If you've never caught a fish over 10 pounds, I will try my best to put you on your personal best.
You guys heard it right there. Stacey says if we can get 500 viewers, he'll do a fishing trip with him.
For all of us.
Come on, guys.
For all of us. He gets to take all of us out fishing. All 500 viewers gets to go.
I will tell them this, and I will do. They get on the boat with me, and I promise you, I do everything I can to have a good time and to have a trip of a lifetime. So, yeah, that stands open right there, man. It sure does. Hey, let's get into talk a little bit of. Right, Aaron?
It's jumping pretty quick. We're up to 124.
Hey, I see it. Let it jump on. Hey, I'm off this summer. I'm gonna work in my shop and go fishing. So I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna have all the time in the world. So, hey, I want to do this right here. Let's get into talk a little bit of catfishing. This is what everybody's tuned in for. And guys, this crew that's on here tonight, I know that Aaron, Daniel, they were also the runner-up on the points championship. They're going to make a run for it this year. They have brought a heavy hitter in to be their third man, sort of like a tag team, the one that comes in and finishes things up. He's the fourth man on the batting chart, the cleanup man. They got Spud, Barton coming in. So the rumor is, man, they are going to make a big run for the points championship. And guys, these guys are really knowledgeable in what they do. So here's your opportunity. If you got any questions and stuff, we're going to try to dig into this. I'm going to start with this with Spud. Spud, what is some of your what is one of your favorite techniques, or do you have a favorite technique that you use when fishing?
Well, I don't necessarily do a favorite technique, but I have a favorite stretch of water. These two guys will tell you, they call it Spud water. If it's deeper than knee deep, I'm usually not in it. I fish a lot of shallow water here in Texas, even in the dead of wintertime. So I chase, we can be upper 40s in our water tip. That's pretty cold here in Texas. We don't get very much below that, except this last winter during the ice storm. But I fish a lot of, 5 foot or less, 3 foot or less, 18 inches. A lot of shallow water here.
Now, Spud, let me ask you this, because this has begun to be a common. It seems like there's a common subject here every time I have one of y'all Texans on here, and it's opened me up to it. And I share his name a lot as Michael Smith, the first guy that I really got connected to on Tawakoni, and he went to telling me about shallow fishing, and then I noticed, man, every time I talk to y'all Texans, fishing shallow water. What is your approach when dealing with shallow water? How do you approach this? Do you look for fish, or you just sense certain things that you're looking for?
I'm looking for. Man, you trying to get me to tell my secrets here?
Don't get
I'm
too
looking
much
for water
into
inlet. We don't get flow here. A lot of people are spoiled across the nation to have flow. We don't ever have flow here in Texas. And if we get flow into a lake, it's usually a flood. It's not a current flow through a lake system, like you have on Wheeler or Wilson or any of those lakes. So when I'm looking for some type of an influx in there, but I'm looking not necessarily flow, but I'm looking for a bottom texture. I don't look for sand or rocks. I'm looking for a soft silt. The softer the better. And it could be 2 foot of water, but if I can take I use a 10-foot sucker rod. And if anybody in the oil field know what a sucker rod is, you take a sucker rod. If it's a 10-foot sucker rod and I can push it down in the dirt 4 feet, 5 feet, that's soft. That's all silt, washed in silt, and that's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
Hey, Daniel Armstrong said, "Now don't lie to us, now, Spud." And when approaching this, when out here fishing, is there a certain, just a regular Carolina rig with a short leader on it? I would guess.
I use a Sandy Cooper rig a lot. I don't, once again, I'm fishing, lake. I'm not fishing current, so I want to get my bait up out of that soft mud. In fact, when I throw, 4 ounce, I throw a 4 ounce weight mainly out here, and I have to lean back into the rod to pull that weight out of that mud when it hits. I'm fishing so shallow, when it hits, it sinks down in there. So I'll slip it out, and I want that cork to float that bait up and get it up out of that soft mud. And honestly, majority of the time, I don't see a whole lot of fish on sonar. Aaron and Daniel fished at Tawakoni, and we was doing some pre-fishing, and even that morning tournament, we pushed some monster fish in 12 to 18 inches of water, and never saw them on sonar. I'm looking for wakes. I'm looking for spoils where they're turning up, and if it's real cold in the morning, don't think I won't jack that jack plate up, get that prop on top of the water, and just start pushing until I push fish, and then watch where they just go and settle back down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It was amazing that morning on day one of the tournament. We had one that I guarantee was at least 60 pounds. It looked like a dolphin, 10 foot in front of the boat. And I was like, what in the world?
For a long ways, too.
Yeah, and then here comes another one, and there's 2 of them just porpoising through there. And I was like, what in the world?
Wow. Yeah. And this is something that I've never ever dealt with. I've never fished water, and I share this a lot, because if it gets up under 5 foot, I'm like, hey, we turn around going another direction. But I have in the past couple of years, in the last 2 years, I have moved down to 10 foot, 8 foot range. I ain't jumped completely off in the shallow end yet, but I have moved into some shallow stuff, what I call shallow, and it has produced some monster fish for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's we catch a lot. The lakes I fish, we don't see a whole lot of 70+ pound fish. Lake Waco's lake record's 84, but you catch a lot of 40s and 50s. This year we were blessed with quite a few of them, and a lot of them were in 12 inches of water. It's crazy to watch and never see them.
Yeah.
Until the rod buckles. And what's crazy is a lot of my clients will tell you too, that you'll hear the splash and see the commotion before the rod ever buckles down.
Yeah, and that's what I had been told also. I said, that right there would be interesting. Yeah.
We got to get you over here, Stacey, in the wintertime on Allatoona right here. It's 3 foot of water. 3 foot of water or less, they blow up out of the water. It's crazy.
You can bet one thing, Aaron, this winter, and I've had really good success here on my home waters and fishing stuff that's 10 foot, less than 20 foot. I fish a lot of stuff from December, January, February, less than 20 foot. A lot of it's probably around the lower teens, and I catch a lot of fish. And so this year, I done made a vow. I said, I'm gonna fish some stuff that's at 5 foot and less, and it's gonna have to prove me I'm going at it hard as I can do it. And I'm like, I really believe them fish here on our home bodies, because that's where I catch them in them shallow water, or what I call shallow, less than 20 foot, and most of it's around that 10 foot range. And so I couldn't see why they wouldn't be up in something that's a less than 5 foot. And me and you know, and probably all of us know, when I get ready to look for shad in the wintertime, and we can still get them here in the South pretty much well, unless that water temperature gets down below 50. But I'm waiting for the sun to come out. I may have trouble first thing in the morning, but when the sun comes out, I'm like, I know where they at. I can't hardly get my boat up in there, but if we can, we're kicking up mud and we're getting shad. And so if them shad's there, I could see why them catfish will be there. That water.
I want to answer a question on Creole catfishing. Just ask the question, it says, when deep water is readily available, what situation would push these big fish into shallow water? It's not just the bait. I've seen fish up there get down, what are the air temperature get down in the low 30s and not even dip below freezing, and that water temperature be in the upper 40s or 50s, and they're still in that shallow water. But once again, I'm looking for soft, really, really soft mud. And what I have found is, and this, I might be wrong in my thinking of this, but those fish get down and they water down that mud. The Earth's temperature, when you get 5-10 feet below the surface, is around 55 degrees, no matter where you're at. Underwater, if you go down in that mud, it's still 55 degrees. That water temperature on the surface might be 42 or 48 or 52, but that mud down, if it's soft, they can get down in there. I don't know how many fish I've caught with mud, thick mud on their back, and I've pushed them up with my boat and got them out of that mud. But I think they're getting up in there and they're watering down that soft mud because they can stay warmer there than if they try to make a long travel to deep water or, and like here in Texas, like I said, we don't get current. So they get up there and it doesn't take long for that sun to break up, especially on a sunny day in the wintertime, to heat that soft mud up fast. And now they're up in that sun and sunning.
Yeah. And I think that's a great concept, because that's what I think that they're there. And I make mention about the shad and stuff, because the reason the shad moves up in that shallow water in the wintertime and after the sun comes up, because it warms up. That's where your warm water's at. And so that's why them catfish is there, is that not only the shad, but that warm water. They're able to move up in there and lay out in the sun for a while.
Yeah. Hey, Stacey, if you want to go ahead and do a giveaway, I got a question for Daniel.
All right, go ahead. Hey, we're going to do this to start with. We're fixing to give away a pair of Dale's tackle pliers. So this is going to be for Dale's tackle pliers right here. So y'all hang on a minute. Go ahead, Bobby.
Best pliers on the market, Bobby.
Sure.
Show about the pliers right there in 1 second.
They got that little nipple on the end of them. Make getting the hook out real easy, guys. Real easy. It's got cutters on it, little crimps. It's got a little grip on it too that you can really hold on to it, man. Leash on it. It's definitely a must-have tool in the boat. So, Daniel.
Yeah.
What was the hardest transition for you from going from channel catfishing in California to coming over to the blue cat world and into the Southeast?
Oh, well, finding them is one thing. So I kind of, a little bit to piggyback off of Spud, like shallow water fishing was not a thing for me. I don't shallow water fish. That's just something I don't do. So it's really new for me to shallow water fish. So to hear that big blues, or even from going from channels, the big channels when I was in California, they weren't really in 5 foot of water. Not really. In the summertime or pre-spawn, I could find them in about 8 to 10. But that's about it. Anything that, start to get to the 15 to 20 range. That's where I started finding our big channel cats. But coming over to blues, I found out that they move a lot more than channel cats do. I have a hard, it's a lot harder to find them. And using different bait too. That's another thing. Bait was a whole different story for me. I didn't catch and skipjack. I didn't even know that thing even existed. Doing that, it was all new for me. You taught me a lot on how to do all that stuff, but that's mainly what it is. But yeah, shallow water fishing was something I didn't do. And so learning that, coming into the team, that really helped, but that's mainly what it was. it's a learning curve.
We'll let Stacey do the giveaway and finish that up, and then we'll touch base on something with that too.
Guys, the winner of the Dale's Tackle Pliers, Tony Watkins. Tony, if you would, you can either send me or Aaron Churchwell a message. When you send this, put on there that you're the winner of the Dale's Tackle Pliers and send your address with it also. We will get this to Dale, and he will take care of it. Aaron, go ahead with your next question, and while we're here, we got a lot of stuff we're gonna give away. I'm gonna give away a $50 gift credit to also the Dale's Tackle. So
nice.
Go ahead with that.
All right, Spud, we had another question too. What is your rig for shallow water?
Sandy Cooper.
Sandy Cooper rig.
Sandy Cooper. And then somebody asked if I pull boards or if I anchor up. I anchor up. And Mick, I'm not answering your question. I saw your question through there.
It's a team effort.
But no, I anchor up. But once I get into if I'm in a big shallow flat give you an instance like there's a certain couple of lakes that we have 10 to 15 acre shallow flats. It's all 3 foot or less, all the way back to where a little bitty small creek that you can jump across feeds into the lake, and it's all silted in from when it floods and just sits down in there. I might use my big motor to get back there, but once I get back there and I actually jump up a couple of fish, I don't crank that big motor up for a while. I'm going to use that trolling motor to go, and I'm only go if I fan cast out and I'm casting out 150 to 180 feet in a 360 circle, I'm only going to move over about 300-400 feet. So when I cast on the other side of my cast string, I'm basically just hitting the edge of my last time where I fished. I'm just going to hopscotch, and I'm going to work that area really hard for several hours. I'm not going to go far, and I'm not going to crank my big motor up and spook those fish. Once I get them up and moving out of that mud, they're not going to bury back down unless it's just a really nasty day or something like that. They're going to come up and they're going to stay up. They're going to sit back down, but I don't want to spook them. And I'll give a spot, about 45 minutes in that shallow water, because when you first move in, they know you're there. They know you're coming 5 miles down the lake. They can hear you. They can feel that vibration. Get in that shallow water, get still. Don't stomp around in these boats, especially the aluminum boats, and watch those rods, because they're going to take off and they hit.
Aaron, let me cover this right here. Guys, the winner of the $50 gift credit to Dale's Tackle is Tommy Mitchell. Tommy, you can also send me a message here on Stacey Gaston or SmackDown Catfishing on Messenger. Put in the comment there that you won the $50 gift credit, and send me your address, and I would forward this to Dale's Tackle. We want to thank Dale's Tackle for being a vital part of our program. He has contributed since the day one that we started. Guys, if you're looking for some terminal tackle needs, go to Dale's Tackle. He gets on me sometimes because I call it Dale's Bait Tackle. So go to Dale's Tackle, Dale'sTackle.com. You can find him there. He's going to have all your terminal tackle needs, and we appreciate your support, Dale. Hey, let me ask you, when there was a question popped up a while ago, and I don't know if y'all do this or not, but the question was about suspended. How do you fish timber? Do you suspend it, or do y'all ever fool with that much? I
personally don't. So when I throw in the timber, I'm throwing into it, especially down here in Florida when we get down to like the Apalachicola River, where it has a lot of flooded timber in it. I'm just throwing into it, or as close as I can into it. And you just got to be quick with the rods and get them out. So that's how I fish that. But I don't personally suspend in the timber like that. Now, it could be that the timber's down in, I don't know, we'll say 30 foot of water. If it's deep, you could suspend over it if you're suspending on it. But typically I'm anchoring up and then throwing back into it. So that's what I do.
Yeah. What you got there, Aaron?
Spud?
I'm learning that, honestly, the spot lock over the top of timber. My big thing was I've always casting into it, but I've been a shallow water fisherman. So, if it's really deep water, I usually get on the outside of the edge of the timber and I'll drag boards through there. and I'll hit the skirted. I'll go ahead and mark the edge of a tree line, or if it's a field of timber, I'll find a good clear area and I'll pull boards to it. But the last couple of years, I've been trying to work on that because the lake I live on, it's got some really nice blues, but it is a lot of flooded timber. It reminds me a lot of PK, and I know they're there, and I've done it. I just haven't. I'll be honest with you, I ain't perfected that. Suspended over the treetops and getting them out of there. But I've showed Aaron and Daniel both, some screenshots. There's some monster blues that hide in those trees.
Yeah,
I'm working on it. I like to get old Larry Muse or somebody to teach me how to do all that kind of stuff. That guy there. There's some other ones out there, but he's the one that kind of pops to mind about hitting the top or even suspend drifted over the top of those trees or something. It's something I'm working on.
Yeah. And Larry Muse and Mike Mitchell is guys who are renowned.
That's another one.
Fishing in that jungle.
they both catch huge fish out of those standing timbers, and they fish it two different ways too. Michael's set right in the middle of it. If you've watched some of his videos, when they're reeling down on a fish, he's telling them you power that fish out of there. So he's fishing in it. He's casting in it.
Oh yeah.
He said on Chris Souter's show, he said you may lose 2 or 3 of them, but when you do land that one, it's going to be a good one. And then Gary will tell you he sets out off of the timbers and suspends bait next to him. He says those same fish, when they're hungry, they'll move out of it to eat it. I've suspended in them before. I've casted in them. I've fished them all different ways. It's definitely make you want to pull your hair out. I know that.
No doubt.
Because you're going to get hung up. You might as well just go ahead.
I saw a good question. It hasn't popped up yet, but I saw a good question was how long do you sit on a spot, right? Especially when it comes to timbers or something like that.
Yeah.
And I know Spud really kind of taught us this during Tawakoni. I think that's a 2-part answer for me, at least. One part is if it's the summertime, I'm probably not sitting there very, very long. If I'm not getting a bite in 30 to 45 minutes, an hour at the most, I'm probably moving because those fish are typically feeding after the spawn. But to Spud's point, we sat at Tawakoni. We sat on one spot for about 5 hours of the day, and
it was crazy. That was crazy too, because it was every 45 minutes we'd get a bite and put a fish in the boat.
And that's the thing. And I think the best way to explain it is look at it as a highway. That's how we looked at it, right? And that's how Spud explained it to us. It's a highway where we were sitting at. Those fish were going back and forth, back and forth. So eventually, they got to cross your line. They got to get to your bait. And if they're hungry enough, they're gonna bite your hook. They're gonna bite your bait and get on your hook. So, that's a 2-part answer for me. I think it was Mark here asked that question, but that's how I would answer that personally.
Well, Tawakoni is a little unique because we had the storms come in and it flooded, and so on top of current coming in multiple areas in that lake, you had a lot of boats in a small area, and so you had a lot of pressure, and those fish knew it. You have more. It wasn't just you and maybe one other boat back in this cove or something. It was multiple boats. Yes. So you had to be quiet, and your neighbor over there that's 250 feet from you, they got to be quiet. And if they're stomping around and else, it takes time for those fish to calm down. But I'm not going to tell them everything we looked at on the graph and what we were looking for. But you need to look for something different in that mud. Find something different in there that they can key on. If it's an edge of a tree line, if it's a fence line, if it's an old silted in creek bed, find something, because fish are no different than mammals on the land. They're going to find something to key on and travel. If you go out in the woods and hunt, you just don't go out in the middle of the woods and go, I hope a deer crossed my path. You're looking for a trail. You're looking for a tree line. You're looking for, a ditch, something for them to key on. Fish are the same way. They got to find a way to get from point A to point B.
Yeah. And Spud, one of the things I believe the same thing you do is I am looking even before we ever go to a body of water, I'm on my navionics, and if we're starting out at one place, wherever we're starting from, if I'm going in one direction or another, I'm looking for the first dramatic change in depth, contours, creeks or something. And I'm like, hey, guy, some people ask me, why did you stop here? because it's the first thing I've seen since I left where we left at that gives me this idea that these fish are looking to stage up on something. And I want to tell you, you just look in your live well, and if you have anything in your live well, whether it be the aerator on one end, or you can just throw something in there, and them fish are going to be around that one thing. They come into where there's something at, and they gonna all just be right there at it. And I think they do the same thing. If you're going up a river and you ain't seen a treetop in 2 miles, and all of a sudden there's a treetop, you probably need to stop and check it out, because you hadn't seen nothing like that in a long time. And on our river system, in places, this river just be 20 foot deep, and it liable to go 20 foot deep for a couple miles and really ain't nothing. And all of a sudden it drops off to 50. It pops back up to 30. And I'm like, guy, let's stop right here. And over on the side, it's 10. And I'm like, I just go to scanning. I'm like, they got to be here somewhere, because it offers. This is the first time something really different in the contour of the bottom of this lake, of the river we was on.
There was somebody also asked, as all of us Texas guys fish shallow, how deep is our lakes? Well, I can tell you the lakes I fished on around here, Lake Belton, we've got 110 foot area, and then probably the average depth is probably, honestly, around 60 foot deep. Waco, the average depth 40 to 50 foot. We've got 80 foot of water. Navarro Mills, the deepest part's 25 foot. The average depth there is probably 5. It just depends on the lake, but we've got a lot of deep water. We have, here we get thermoclines. We, in starting this time of year, they're already starting. We have a lot of, rain right now. It's flooding here in Texas. It has been. We like rain almost every day in the last month. But come this summer, we'll get thermoclines, and our fishing kind of goes to, it's not very good for big blues. But in the wintertime, it's just kind of different. I like shallow water. There's guys that make a living in deep water. One of your guys on SmackDown, beat us at Texoma fishing deep water when everybody else was kind of hitting shallow. Our biting shallow at Texoma was on great on day 1. Day 2, it kind of, flopped on us. I will tell you that weather pattern will affect shallow water fish quicker than deep water will. And it kind of bit us in the rear up at Texoma. But, man, when the shallow water bites on, it will spoil you. It will.
Hey, let me go back to this question here, because this guy right here, and I think that just want you to hit on this for a minute, because he brings up, and I think this has got something to do with the shallow water. What's your opinion on playing the radio while fishing? And
Negative.
I think it goes.
For me,
go ahead.
Not in shallow water, you ain't.
No.
Not the boat radio. You might put it on your phone and hold it in your lap, but I'm gonna tell you right now that vibration in a especially an aluminum boat. Why do lures have rattles?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you put one of Dale's line rattles on there? Why do you do that? And put sound waves in the water, right? So if you playing stereo in shallow water, unless they like the music, you done.
Yeah. And, and I share this because an old turkey hunter told me this one time. When you're out turkey hunting, people, man, that deer hunting or whatever it may be, you have entered that creature's domain. That's where he lives at. Yeah. And I'm going to share this. And I think that the hunter told me one time, said, if you walked in your house and somebody is sitting in your living room, wouldn't you notice him? Said he's in your house. You know that something is there that's not supposed to be there. And so that deer or that turkey, when you're there, he knows that there's something there that don't supposed to be there. And them fish are the same way. When you drive up or whatever you do, they know that something's there that don't supposed to be there. I do play my radio some, but when I get to a certain level of water, I'm like, hey, the radio's got to go now. I'm like, now if we're in 50 foot of water and I'm dragging baits 200 feet behind me is one thing. But when I get to that 10 foot and that 15 foot stuff and there's no current, everything's just sort of still and quiet, I'm like, hey, guy, the radio's got to go. And don't get up and be walking around in this aluminum boat.
I'm like that even about the depth finder. I don't want the depth finder on in shallow water. Once we find where we're going to fish and we've got anchors out, depth finder shut off. So
Yep.
Stacey, you want to do a giveaway?
Hey, I've got another one ready to go. Guess what I'm fixing to do now? I am fixing to give away. These right here have been donated and taken care of. Guys, if y'all don't know him, if you ever up around in Kentucky, you go by and see him. He's got a pool hall. His name is Doug Walker. I call him Dumas Walker. And so Doug has helped us out tonight, and we're going to give away a set of Bears planer boards. So we're fixing to do that right there. So, guys, if you need some planer boards, we're fixing to give them away tonight. And I want to tell you, I didn't make mention of this, but I'm going to make sure. So I'm going to go ahead and tell the guys that is in this chat. I'm going to give away 25 fresh skipjack from Edmund Crowder, Yammer and Son. So I'm going to do this. If you're planning on being down on in North Alabama, that's where he's located at, and you like to have some fresh skipjack, here in the next month or two, I would figure it could be done. I want you to do this here, because I ain't going to just choose from everybody on the chat, because you may not ever be this way. But if you're interested in a 25 fresh skipjack, I just want you to put skipjack in the comment bar, and I'm going to choose that skipjack winner from the ones who have put skipjack in there. But I've got the winner for the Bears pointer boards, so you'll hang on. The Bears pointer boards, Tyler Dabbs. Tyler, if you would, send me a message on Messenger that you're the winner of the pointer boards, and also send me your address, and I'm going to get this right here to them, and they'll make sure they take care of you. I want to thank again Doug Walker for contributing these right here, and the gift credit to Dale's Tackle. And so we got 3 more giveaways to do. I'm going to give away one of these shirts here tonight.
Hey, I'm about to type in S.
Extra large.
Hey, I have a question that was from earlier that we kind of didn't get to look at. So, Daniel, what's your number one piece of advice for an experienced angler that is new to tournament fishing?
Be open to new things. That's what I would say. Not every angler knows everything. So you can be experienced, but what I've come to learn is that every body of water is different, and everybody has, there's a different technique for every body of water. And so you have to be open to trying new things, open to trying a different way of fishing, really. Sometimes you may have to do the things that you're uncomfortable with, whether that be if you're not used to pulling boards, then you have to go pull boards. If you're not used to shallow water fishing, go do some shallow water fishing. That's the best advice I can give for an experienced angler, is just don't be afraid to try something brand new to you. That's kind of the good thing that we have with our team, is we all kind of come from different backgrounds, so we're able to kind of put it all together. That's the best advice I can give.
Hey, Spud, do y'all, when you in that shallow water, you have power poles? Is that the way y'all stay?
Yeah, I use on my new boat, I'm gonna have Raptors. But yeah, I use the Raptors a lot, and then I say I use a sucker rod. I mean, I don't know. It's just basically like a solid 3/4 inch pipe that I've got a T welded on. I just took a piece of the pipe, cut it, and welded it to the top, and I just rounded the edge of it on the bottom of it, and I just pushed that down for the bow. So I just wiggle it down the front and tie a dock line to it, to the front, to the bow, and then drop my Raptors in the rear, or power poles if you have power poles, or toweling, and lock it down right there. If you can keep anything from splashing in the water. Now, someone asked earlier about, do I use rattles or suggest using, any other type of, sound device? Yeah, on your bait, but you don't want to be stomping on your boat. And in fact, there's been times, a couple of times, there's been people fishing not too far from me, and the only difference between their bait and my bait on the rig was they were using a regular old port, and I'm using, a sound making device on my bait. but it was really windy. I mean, we were battling 30, 40 mile an hour winds. It was bad chop, but I think that was the only thing that really made the difference. Is I was using, sound device in that on my bait. But yeah, I use it at the bait. I don't use it at the boat. No sound at the boat.
Yeah. Hey, I know Bobby went and got something then.
No, I'm not saying that fish are scared of sound. I'm not saying that at all. I think whenever you startle fish in shallow water, I think it eases them calming down enough to where they'll start eating again.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen the Livingston lures. I don't know where the speaker is on this thing. Tell me if you can hear this.
Mm-hmm. I hear it.
Yeah.
Me and Cody Haynes fished a tournament a couple weeks ago on Gunnersville. 5 out of 6 fish caught on this big, ugly-looking thing, making that noise. I mean, it's not – I don't think the rattles and stuff spook them in shallow water. I think it's just when you barge in there and they're in there either warming up or eating or something like that, I think that's what spooks them is that boat coming in on top of them like that.
Well, subtle sound is one thing. There's another difference between having a boat motor and music playing. So, I mean, I think most people, most fishermen know how to swim. Hopefully they do. But if you've ever gone swimming and dove under the water of the lake, you can hear that boat all the way across the lake. Mm-hmm. And our ears are not adapted to be underwater all the time. Those fish hear that. There's a difference between a subtle sound and not necessarily a attractant sound or maybe an investigative sound. Hey, what's that little rattle? What's this little bitty pinpoint sound over here? What's this little splash versus somebody over there, hooping and hollering and, with the music and cranking the big motor up and slamming the lid down or slamming your cooler lid when you get your sandwich out or something. There's a little bit difference.
Yeah, I agree with you. Guys, if you want to.
Jessica Newton says, we found out catfish different music on different days.
Do what?
I think I'm lagging back on. I said, one of the ladies in the chat said, we found out catfish like different genres of music on different days.
Oh, of course. And different species. Different species like different genres. Oh, yeah. Of course.
Hey, I'm going to go ahead tonight while I'm here. We got this right here done. I don't know who wanted – I ain't seen nobody put no skipjack in the comment bar. So I'm going to hold on to it, guys. If you were interested in if you're going to be around the North Alabama area and would like us to set some free skipjack, guys need to put that in the comment bar because we want to make sure you get that. Just type the word skipjack, not SDC. And the first one I see that puts it in there, you're going to be the one that gets it.
There's been a couple of people ask about the –
Who wants it, Bobby?
There's a couple of things that Aaron – some people asked about Aaron, what he had at lure. That's Livingston lures, by the way, that he had up there. And there's different sizes of those. They make them smaller too, guys. But if you make sure – and I'm not trying this to do anything, but you want to save a little bit of money, use Hot 15 to get 15% off. Show them, Aaron. Mine are in the garage.
That's the see-through version that they sent us so that we could show you guys how they're made. So it's got a rattle in it. It's got a light in it. I mean, it lights up. You got to touch the prongs together for it to get it to make it do its thing. But I mean, see, it lights up. It does everything. And man, when we were fishing, pre-fishing for the Cat Masters Classic on Gunnersville, that day that we were using them, I mean, that was a game changer that day.
Oh, it was.
I mean, we sat on top for 45 minutes and put these on and threw them out there, and within 10 minutes had a 76 in the boat. So
the picture that Stacey used for advertising for tonight's show is that fish came off of one.
And I want to throw this in here for just a second. You probably seen, all of y'all probably seen this, and I think the thing of being able to be diverse in your presentation with different things makes a real big difference at certain times. And I've seen it times where if you're stuck with one way that you present things, you may not get much. And the guy next to you fishing with rattles, he's catching them that day. vice versa. The next day, the guy who does not have rattles, he's catching them. And so being able to change up and see how they want it presented has a big effect on whether you catch fish some days and whether you don't. And
I agree. It's like Daniel said, be open to new stuff,
be open to it. And
yeah.
if I'm fishing with somebody, and if there's a couple of us on the boat, one of the things I always do is what you got tied on. Let's don't all tie on the same thing. And we're trying to figure out something, and we want some rattles, we want some floats, we don't want floats on some, and we're trying to see just how do they want it today. And once we figure that out, we just go to it.
And different cuts of bait, is it going to be a fillet? Is it going to be a chunk of head, or big thick body cut? Butterfly. I showed them, something I do. I butterfly my shad. We don't have skipjack here in Texas, so I'll take shad and I'll butterfly them and leave the fillets on so they look like they're swimming in the water.
Yeah, and it makes a world of difference because sometimes you like, hey, I like to fish with the head, but I'm telling you, I have been at times and when I'm fishing with, a lot of times I'm fishing with Joey, he done caught 3 and I ain't caught none, and I'm asking, what you got on that thing? He said, I got that body chunk. I'm like, I think I'm gonna put me a couple of them on there. And I'm like, I'm pretty fast, I'm pretty quick learning, but sometimes it's just the way they want it presented. Even when I'm fishing, I'm gonna put big bait on, and I'm gonna have 1 or 2 rods that's gonna have something on that's just gonna be small. I mean, not very big at all. And I'm just trying to see, how does he want it presented? Sometimes it don't make no difference.
Presentation.
Sometimes it makes a difference whether you catch a fish or whether you don't.
Oh yeah.
Larry taught me that a couple of years back. We were talking about bumping, and he told me, he said, man, you see guys that bump that yank it and then they're throwing it back down, yank it and throwing it back down. And Larry said, man, if you were a fish, how often you think he's actually going to have a chance to actually grab that? As violent as that moving. And that's when he told me, he said, when you're bumping, man, present it back to him. So bring it back down slow, present it back to that fish. So presentation's key on everything.
Hey, let me get this taken care of right here, Aaron. The winner of the skipjack, and I'm telling you, she was quick on it. Hey, Tiffany McAnally, message me that you got the skipjack, and I'm going to get the information to you, and we'll take care of it from there. Thank you for tuning in. I noticed, man, she's a faithful supporter of our program, and thank you so much, Tiffany. We got 2 more things we're going to give away tonight. What time we got? 7. But we're having such a good time. Bobby, we didn't get 500, but we have headed up around 150 live views tonight. So that right there is doing really good.
That is.
Yeah. What else you got on your mind, man? Spud, Aaron, Spud, Daniel, what else you want to throw in here?
I think I know why we got so many viewers. Daniel brought in that West Coast view crowd.
I've seen Ken and all them from out there on Clear Lake.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Brought in.
Yeah.
So, well, I have something I want to touch on. How many of you guys follow? Was it BKPC? Is that what Joe? BKPC? They're doing a Isaac Strong tournament up on Guntersville in October, I think it is. Isaac's fighting cancer of some sort, I think, right now. But it's a good cause, guys, man. Look into it. Check out, what they're doing. They just did the Tackle 22 one. Me and Stacey and Chad fished together and had a blast. If you guys ever get the chance, ask Stacey about the alligator. Just keep that in your back pocket. But we had us rolling all day on the boat. But no, Joey and them are doing a good thing, man. They're doing a lot of these charity tournaments throughout the year. They threw that Tackle 22 one, and it was a hit. So if you could, man, just support what they're doing and look into that Isaac Strong tournament.
Yeah. Hey, I want to throw
maybe Stacey needs to tell them about that.
Hey, I need to. I'm gonna do that one night, and I'm gonna tell them about that alligator trip and my adventures on trying to catch one of them. I didn't try to catch it. I didn't figure out if I caught him or he caught me.
Hey, speaking of alligator, there's a SmackDown viewer down here in Texas, Jerry and John Dillard. They're father and son team that fished on the Catmaster circuit. They had a monster catch. They had an alligator gar over 200 pounds this last weekend while out fishing for yellowcat. And I'm pretty sure it's down the Brazos River. If you can go check them out on Facebook, man, that is a monster fish. Yeah. I think it went over 7.5, almost 8 foot long. Caught it rod and reel. I think it was about a 45-minute fight. I mean, kudos to John.
Yeah, I want to throw this in here too, guys. There is a benefit tournament going on for Catfishing for a Cause benefit tournament. Go around, pull up that Facebook page, Catfishing for a Cause benefit tournament. You should be able to find it there. I'll try to have more information on it next week. I appreciate everybody's support on that. Let me do this tonight. Over here, I'm going to give away one of these shirts right here. Hey, I call it the SmackDown Performance Fishing Shirt. You get you one of these, you're going to be SmackDown ready. So we're going to give away this tonight. This right here has been donated. Do what, Aaron?
Go ahead. Yes, I'm way back. I don't know. I guess I'm delayed.
You're back on time now. Hey, this right here has been donated to us by Troy Smith at Bronco's Grocery. So, guys, we're fixing to give this right here away. So y'all give me just a second. Aaron, take over just for a second here.
Does it come with
Stacey? Where'd it go?
Does it come with Stacey Gaston GPS coordinates on Lake Wheeler and Wilson?
Oh, we're gonna put that up for auction one day. Hey, I will say this because I've been looking at a new boat and a new this and that and another, and somebody was looking at my stuff the other day, and they says, when we get this boat, you're gonna sell it. I said, everything goes with it. They said electronics, everything. I said, everything. Then I got to think, I said, except for them 2 cards, it's in that one unit.
Yeah, ask old Mick Petrie about letting me borrow his graph at Texoma. He let me borrow his graph, and after I had his graph on my boat was my tank, and that's a true friend. During a tournament, somebody you're competing against let you borrow their graph to put on your boat. And then he realized he left all his GPS coordinates in there.
Question for you, Spud. You're the B&M guy in here. Somebody wanted to know, what's the scoop on B&M's new Elite Heavy Action rod? What's the action like compared to a Magnum?
It's completely different. You're looking at one's an S-class, one's an E-class rod. So looking at the Silver Cap medium heavy, I've actually got a picture on my Facebook page of the medium heavy versus the heavy with 16 ounces of weight and with 24 ounces of weight. It's a lot stiffer backbone. That's what I run in the tournaments when I'm fishing for those trophy fish. Now, I don't necessarily run that when I'm guiding, because like I said, big fish for us, 40, 50 pounds, but if there's a possibility for those, 70, 80, 90-pound fish, I'm running those heavies. Yeah. I enjoy it. I mean, it's got a stiff. It carries it about 3/4 of the way through the rod.
Guys, I'm gonna do this here, and we're gonna get ready to. We've been here about an hour tonight. I'm gonna get ready to close down. I do want to say the winner of the SmackDown Performance Fishing Shirt, Justin Hay. Justin, send me a message that you won the SmackDown shirt and your address, and I will get this taken care of for you. It may be a week or 2 before you get it, so just be patient on that. As we're getting ready to close out, Spud, I'm going to give you an opportunity if you want to give a shout-out to anybody. If there's anything else you want to add in, feel free to do so.
Put me on the spot on that. You talk about B&M. They have a few new rods coming out later this fall. They have a ladies edition, all you ladies out there. Pink and purple will be launching later this fall, and they have a new medium series, a medium light for the channel cat fishermen on those. But yeah, I love this show. This is a great show. I loved all the questions. I hope I was able to answer a lot of them for y'all. And I want to thank you, Stacey, for inviting me on tonight.
Yeah, man, we've enjoyed having you on here. Hey, I'll get you one of these shirts here, Spud.
I need one of these shirts, extra large.
I got you. Hey, let me do this. I'm gonna give Aaron, Daniel a chance here too, guys. We're going to give away the very last thing we're going to do is give away a RS net. Your choice of colors. We'll get you this taken care of. If you were interested in this, I know everybody's throwing SDCs in here. Hey, do this for me. I want you to go in here. I'm going to give them a few minutes. I'm going to give them 5 minutes. I want you to put in RS. Somebody done already done it. RS. Put in RS. RS net. Let me know that you want a net, that you don't already have one. So I'm going to be looking for the word RS net in this chat right here for the giveaway on this RS net. So make sure you put it there.
Y'all.
I don't know if they've ever had an RS net, but I'm telling you, they're the Cadillac of
yeah, they are.
Net.
Man, those
they
things
are.
nice. That and the wastelands.
Nice. Yes, they are nice. Daniel, what you want to add in? Any shout outs you want to give and any closing remarks here, man?
Oh, shout outs. I'll always shout out my wife. So she always allows me to do this stuff, but Anvil Rods, Rod Company, Dale's Tackle, obviously. We got River Rats Rural Repair. But really, I mean, most people know who I fish with. But actually, there's one thing I do want to kind of touch on is actually there's a new trail being created. And actually, we have our first tournament coming up on June 12th, which is not this weekend coming up, but the following weekend. It's out of Blountstown, Florida. I know a lot of people are looking for a new trail to fish, new tournaments, trying new water. And we talked about all this new water and trying different things out of the norm. If you want to try something different, come fish that. It's be highly competitive. I can tell you that. Lots of big flatheads down here, lots of big blues. So if you don't feel comfortable going after flatheads, go after the blues. If you don't feel comfortable going after the blues, go after the flatheads. But it's out of Blountstown, Florida on the Apalachicola River. So come down on Saturday the 12th. I think captain's meeting's at 4:30 Central Time. So we would love to have you and love to see everybody.
I want to shout out to Daniel. He's got his wife is pregnant. Yeah. They're expecting, yes. It's November, right, Daniel?
Yeah.
We're
going to lose him. He's going to have a boat thing after that.
For carrying baby Hollywood.
All right. Give me just 1 second here, and I'm fixing to put this in.
Y'all better hurry up and get the next in.
Well, hang on. That ain't going to get it. I'll post it over with nobody's name to it.
Hey guys, I just want to take a second to thank all of you guys that make this possible, man. Stacey, thanks for having me on. Joey, I'm gonna get on to you for a minute though, because I'm tired of wanting to go fishing on a Tuesday night and I can't because I remember I got to do this. So, but no, I enjoy doing this, man. You guys that watch this, share it and donate to it, and all the sponsors and everything. Y'all make this show what it is, man.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
I want to say the winner of the RS net is Bill Hall. Bill, message me. When you message me, put on there RS net and your address, and I'm going to get this right here to Jeff Miller. This is a Cadillac of landing nets. Promise you will love it. When we started this program, Aaron, and one of my desires is to see catfishing reach a national level. And I think the only way it is that ever can reach a national level is having people being a part of it, grow the sport. And the only way to grow something that's getting started out, especially where I'm from, that the thing that I dealt with is most people do not rod and reel fish. And so I'm trying to make it a point to try to do my best in my part of trying to educate and teach people and trying to bring in guys like y'all that can be able to share tips and techniques on how y'all do it. And maybe they can be better fishermen, and we can continue to see this sport just excel and the way it's going, because it has excelled and it's jumped leaps and bounds in the last 3 to 5 years that I've been a part of it. And so guys like y'all, I want to thank y'all so much. Thank y'all for tuning in with us. Bill Hall, you're the winner of the RS Nets. We will be back next week with you. We're going to have a crew here. If nothing else happens, we're going to have Tommy Vaughn and Zach Rumble. I don't know if y'all know them or not, but we're going to have them on here with us next week. So, guys, God bless y'all. Have a great afternoon. Be looking for me and Joey and Troy Smith. We're going to be on the lake Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Trying to lay the SmackDown. Hey, we're going to be in search of this other 100-pounder.
Bobby, you going to have everybody and their brother out there driving around looking for you.
Marking waypoints. That's all they're going to be doing. Marking waypoints.
Oh, hey, God bless y'all. Yeah. Hey, God bless y'all, and we will see y'all next week. Thank you. Y'all guys hang on just a second.
Thank you.